Welcome everyone to tonight's crazy. So, we're still waiting for a few people to get in. The left hand of the table has all appeared. The right hand of the table is still MIA.
Oh, that's
Hopefully
weird.
they get discovered. It is kind of weird.
I'm half here.
Yeah, I know. I can see.
What just happened? I just glitched through a wall. Holy shit! All right.
I
was
don't know
trying to
how you
make it to
glitched
the,
through a wall. That sounds sketchy.
Anyways, I wasn't doing anything important. I was making sure I was doing stuff that wasn't important.
There you go. So, who wants to do the summation of what happened last time?
I guess I could. I suppose. Since I pretty much just said it
Right?
long ago.
Might as well get rewarded for it.
So basically, we spent half of last session with Kai talking to the quartermaster and asking for a bunch of stuff and driving the quartermaster crazy, and anyone else that was in line probably behind him. And then we did make our way. Oh, actually, the first thing is we made our way back to town from the ruins. Then, obviously,
Correct.
Kai. We did drop off some more samples. Didn't really learn anything from the scientist. Then we went back to the ruins. I forget. Didn't we take a long rest or a short rest? Or was that before we left?
Yes.
That's before.
Right. Weren't we just looking around and then those bugs came out again?
Yep.
And we fought some more bugs.
Because you threw someone in the air, and when they landed, it called the bugs.
That's right. That's right. I threw Kai up in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
To try and see what he could see from up there, and how big this area is of how many
Yeah.
And then of course, yeah, I missed him. I couldn't move quick enough, and he just fell to the ground,
Which was great fun.
causing a loud, disturbance, and bringing in some friends that
Vibrating the ground doesn't seem to attract anything.
I knew it was a bad idea. I just had to try it. But yeah, that's kind of where we left off. We killed the bugs and licked our wounds, and here we
Then
are.
Dax remarked that he was joking about throwing someone in the air.
Let's
But
not
it was
do that next
already
time.
happened.
It was amusing to, have you guys call up a whole bunch more of them to, eat your faces.
I still don't like that 2 of them got away.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
It's okay.
But you know me, I like killing things.
They replicate double per minute, so they'll be back.
No, jeez.
I'm kidding. Can you imagine how any planet would be if there was a decent-sized predator that literally could double
Oh yeah,
its
it'd
population?
just be like the bug planet. It would be like the bug planet in Starship Troopers. It really would.
It would.
Planet P.
And they don't even replicate at double per minute.
No. Not quite. Well, I don't think so.
No. They still have standard kind of insect-based. It's just they can reproduce more rapidly and don't have a standard insect predator. And so they have mass population because of it.
Not when all of them are the size of friggin' cars.
Huh.
Well, other than the little scarab ones that move the brain.
Which you gotta admit is, always great that you have these little tiny bugs that
Of course.
have the locomotion for this giant bug that can't move. And it's just a big brain sack.
that can apparently influence them all through some sort of hive mind.
Correct. You can also absorb other creatures' brains to develop and improve.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. Freaking mind flayers are terrifying.
Hey, now don't get any
I was
ideas.
thinking that, actually.
We
Get a whole bunch of
don't need to
intellect
see that
devourers.
in this game. Damn it. Oh.
Don't worry, with the benefits of technology, things worse than mind flayers can exist. Just ask Dax. So, what do you guys want to do? You currently have 3 party members that are disposable, apparently.
So what do we want to do about that? We can't play 3 of them.
I mean, we technically could, but that's too much work.
You each could play one of them. I didn't say you had to, I'm just saying.
What
do you guys wanna do?
Looking in their
Like-
eyes, wondering why they're all dead and soulless right now.
You know, Deeks and Killian could have a shootout competition, and somehow Deeks wins, you know?
I mean, he wouldn't need to do a shootout. He's not moving, so it's just be like, accept the sword.
Yeah, what do you guys want to do? You guys want to press on here? You want
alright.
to run back
So we're
and mess
healing
around
up at
at
the end of the
camp?
last one.
Correct.
H, here, you still have most of your health.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Because my ability would be more than that, and yeah. It shouldn't happen in one turn, not for you at least. Now for the squishies in this corner, yes, definitely possible.
Well, it's always possible with them.
All sorts of fun things are
After
possible.
using up a chunk of the med kit crate on everyone, well, that was interesting. I don't like the 2 of them got away, but we do still have some things to explore. I'd ask Kai if he saw anything while he was up there before they came, but he seems to be a little stunned at the moment.
He saw a few buildings. He saw that there was the buildings that I mentioned last week that he saw.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
me tell you about those.
And I remember there was one that was like, oh, I want to say northeast, and another one that was more to the west, or like, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't.
Oh, we still have 2 bodies here. Can I get samples from them?
Mhm.
Because might as well have more than one just in case there's a variant of any kind.
Yeah, no, it's worth double checking. I mean,
Alright, let's D20 to see if I had the tool, I believe. For science. 15 plus 6, so 21.
you're able to pull a few samples.
Sweet.
You know, you keep disturbing him enough, you guys get to finally probably get a TPK. Maybe next time you can start by doing synchronized stomping on the ground to try to raise more of them before things start. Bring out the thumper.
Well, I do have a hydraulic hammer. I think that would work.
Uh-huh. Of course, most people probably know which thing I'm referring to.
Oh.
About thumpers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Took me a second.
I know Deacon does. He watched the movie with us. Well, with me and Walt.
What is it?
Dune?
Oh, yeah.
The Thumpers? Jeez.
I don't know. I saw the movie once. I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah, and you went with the two people that have read books and watched all the movies that came out.
I have the old movie I could pop in and we could watch that tonight if you guys want.
Yeah, I remember the guy's name is Paul.
Mm-hmm.
What's
What
the
house?
house name?
See that? How if I know?
I'm right there with you. I don't remember.
It's House Atreides.
I thought about slightly modifying the dark sun setting, and it would work to be very close lineup to Dune.
That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so how far around these buildings did we get?
Well,
Or
you're
did we get around the perimeter of the one we were near?
you're partway around the perimeter of the one that you're near that was on the
Gotcha.
west as you entered the area. And from what he said, that there is one to the northwest of the west building and the northeast of the east building, and there's one in between the two to the north. So you could head a little bit northeast from where you're currently at and get to kind of the central listed building thus far, or you can head further around the west building from the entrance, or you can double back and go back down to the bottom of the east building that you guys, had explored down to the depths.
Right.
Or you can just write it all off and go somewhere else.
Yeah, that does happen sometimes, but no, the central building seems like it might have more information. Maybe.
You
Who
can try to
knows?
find another one of those big mama bugs that pops out other bugs and has some time fluctuations, right?
I definitely don't want to do that right now.
Why not? You're a higher level, you could handle her better, right?
Only if their stat block is exactly the same, maybe, but then it's still the dice of death determines just how damaging that can be.
That's the fun part. Alright. So, you guys want to go to the central building?
Gather our goons and off to the central building, I suppose. Unless there's any objections.
Hey look, it's a bunch of goons. Does that mean you guys are the Goonies? Is that going to be your group name, the Goonies?
Nah, just that side of the table.
What, the Goonies and the Bros or something?
I don't know.
Or should it be something like the Schmucks and the Goonies? Alright, so you guys move up to that building. It seems to be similarly dilapidated with a large building growing out of the middle of the tree. To
out
quote
of the
Willy
middle.
Wonka, strike that, reverse it.
Getting some deep cuts in today.
So trees growing out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a large tree, larger than the other ones we've seen so far?
I mean, a little bit, not like, oh, this is
Okay.
a special tree, it's so much bigger. More
Gotcha.
just, hey, this one's a good bit bigger. Apparently, it can fit out.
It's filled out a bit. The building itself, is it larger than the other ones we've seen so far? Or does it appear to be?
No, it seems like it actually has more vine growth, so it's almost like some of the buildings actually suspended by the tree
No.
because vines have kind of grown down.
Neat. Well, I guess we start inspecting.
You trying to look for an official entrance, or are you looking just for any hole?
Entrance or safe entrance?
Well, what do you
Because
call
I
a
think
safe
the
entrance?
official entrance would be underground. A stable one that we don't have to worry about the floor falling down.
Well, I mean, won't know that until you try it, necessarily.
That we hope is better supported than the other.
I
things
don't
we've
think you
tried.
have ground-penetrating radar to verify the integrity of the locations.
Not quite. Though I might see about making an aerial drone for scouting when we get back to camp. Who knows what I can make out of the junk room?
Make one out of my arm.
Oh, jeez.
You rip Deke's arm off and make a drone out of it, and he's like, "Oh, now I can't use my gun!"
I'm not saying my whole arm.
No, just the vital components that allow you to move it.
I mean, just like a tiny little drone that can like come out of it.
Yeah. Oh, you mean make a launcher in your arm?
Yeah, that pushes it out. Like
That makes a little bit more sense.
yeah, not my entire arm, just rocket off of me and turn it into
Actually, that's better.
I mean,
an arm. Go.
if it gives you the sight of the arm, that could be very interesting and useful.
Hey, and yeah, then you could have a
What?
rocket punch.
Then you'd also have, like, when it's gone, you wouldn't be able to use a shotgun or your sword.
Yep.
He just like sits there defenseless while it's out flying about.
We could do like I do half damage or something.
Yeah. We can figure something out. However, you could potentially actually have it more of a docking station sort of thing than
Yeah, that's what I was
full-on
thinking.
launcher. But yeah. Keep in mind power requirements could be a thing though as well.
Yeah. I mean, like what I was thinking was just like, you know, in the first Iron Man, I think it's the first one. Maybe it's the second one where he like points at the tank and like a little rocket shoots out of his arm.
Oh
and
yeah.
lands on it.
How's the first one?
Yeah, the first one. Have
Yeah,
that
it's a little
but
micro
drone instead.
rocket.
Yeah.
I mean, micro missiles are a thing.
You said
They
this is
actually
sci-fi,
exist.
so
Yeah, I mean, that's how the... I don't know. With the right explosive, it would probably make a... Maybe.
Dunno.
It's a very small missile, though.
Yeah.
It was almost like a bottle rocket.
big explosion though.
I mean, technically, when they made the nukes, they also found out how to make nuclear hand grenades, just they decided that was a dumb idea.
I mean,
Like, they knew they could make a nuclear grenade. They just think it's stupid.
they decided that, you know, killing your own people's probably not the best
You know
idea.
what? We should probably make them difficult to transport. That's probably the best
Thank
idea.
you.
Oh, and also, I mean, you're gonna die using it, no matter
Oh,
what.
yeah. But, yeah, that's not really an issue for some.
Like, why even making a throwable device at that point?
That's probably why they didn't. I mean, the closest was actually specking out the Fat Man.
That reminds me of why Dune doesn't have laser guns.
Why's that?
Because of what G3 and another friend told me is if they have laser
yeah.
guns and they shoot it at the force field things, it creates a nuclear explosion basically.
Oh, wow.
Because it's
They didn't show that off too well in the new movie.
no,
No.
it's like a faster than light weapon hitting a thing that stops anything.
Yeah. I do think it's fun how they have the. Well, that's getting way sidetracked, but.
I mean, kind of already headed down the rabbit hole a little bit.
A few times.
Well, so I think it's interesting how the slow-moving things can get through the shields, or how they do, especially the how they spiraling
Duncan.
shots. Yeah, start going through Duncan's shields. That's pretty interesting. He just pushes them to the side. That's really neat. I like that.
It's similar to like the Gungan shields in Star Wars, where the fast-moving
way
things
more
couldn't go
entertaining.
through. True, I didn't say it wasn't.
Yeah,
But-
how the tank shells are just
Yeah, nothing. But you can
obliterated
walk
on
through.
the outside. But then the droids walk right through it.
That's the thing. That actually is it's probably the most viable and realistic shield. From what I've heard, science-wise, is that it's the most probable able to be created. That you have materials that act like solids when they're impacted quick. If you impact them slowly, you
Right.
just go right through.
Non-Newtonian,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah,
And
I
there's
mean, if you
other
think about it, that'd
things
also
like
be the
that.
most useful for space travel and stuff, because anything you're flying into is going to be going really freaking fast.
You hope so.
it'd make a great shield.
It also reminds me of the Expanse and the Ring.
And I think that's why more sci-fi recently has gone with more of that sort of a shield, because it's more seen as more
Probable.
probable and accurate, more reasonable, realistic.
Something that could happen within this time period.
Hmm. I mean, that's the whole thing with sci-fi, though, is that it's supposed to have a grasp on reality. That's why it's science fiction, not pure fantasy.
Good point.
I'm just
I
going to
thought
know
it was science nonfiction.
Science nonfiction is just called life.
Science.
It's science.
Yes.
Well,
It's weird that three of us, like,
yeah, without really saying anything. Could just be holiday nonsense. I know work and a lot of places are going crazy because of holidays, so depending on what
Yeah.
they do.
I mean, that could be what happened to him. Jetstorm. I don't think it's what happened to the others. In fact, I know for one
I
it's
mean,
not.
With him, I think that's the most likely, because he'll stay
Yeah.
late to finish up what he's doing. Or he'll lose track of time to finish up what he's doing.
Right.
So it's very likely he'll come in like half an hour to an hour and be like, oh shit.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
So, you guys find a number of holes in that building.
But no official entrance.
No. That official entrance would probably be underground, since we're like our ground level out here is probably like the second or third floors.
Yeah,
Or
you
somewhere
guys
in between.
saw it was like a third floor anyways.
can we see inside?
When you look through the cracks and the holes, and yeah.
I'm guessing there's nothing of
You got
interest.
the night vision, man. Take a look.
Okay, is there anything of interest? Anything that catches my eye?
This building seems to be a bit bigger than some of the others. It has very similar aspects to it, though. Find anything particular, you'd have to poke around a little bit closer to see, but there's no like large objects that holler out at you like, "Hey, I'm important, come get me." Otherwise, it would be a mimic, and it would probably try to eat you.
I'll come in.
I was just about to say.
I don't want to find
slowly.
mimics in this. I really don't. That'd be awful.
It's okay. We'll just have you meet a mimic colony.
I quit.
They all take the form of Cass.
No. That's called Nightmareville.
I'm done. Campaign over.
Cass might think it's the greatest place on Earth.
Well, he does love himself, so.
And I think he goes which way, anyway, too, so.
Yeah.
He does seem to be a little bit mentally fluid.
That's what I kind of grasp from it. I mean, maybe it's just all the jokes, but.
I don't know.
He's certainly some kind of mental.
There you go. I said mentally fluid.
I gotcha.
Let's see. Well, let's try to find a spot where we can at least looks a little bit safer or sturdier that we can enter in.
Yeah, I wanted to carefully go in and poke around.
Hopefully not make too much noise, but we'll see what happens.
Well, if you want to find a place to go in like that, roll an investigation. We'll see how good of a spot you find.
Hulky.
I think you have the advantage on that.
Honestly, that didn't really roll at all. Can I?
Oh no, you have perception. I have investigate, or I have intelligence.
I did.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
it-
cost that.
Oh, I
and
do
it,
have
like,
investigation.
barely
Yeah.
did anything.
Okay.
Died.
Nice,
Yeah.
assist.
He accidentally rolled the first time. He's gonna
It wasn't an accident. It was intentional, but it didn't roll. Like it just hit the side of the thing and then just. stopped.
Oh, I got
I've
it.
had it where they slid across the table and it just stopped on the wall. When they don't bounce, I get a little annoyed at them. Stupid dice.
Like, and honestly, I'm fine with rolling the 9 versus the 13 because the first one didn't roll at all.
Okay.
So hold on, 9 plus. Why am I looking at that? I could just have my own PDF up.
Yep.
I'm trying to zoom in on my that thing.
Well, you can just click the corner of it and it takes up half the
Yeah.
screen.
If you
Yeah.
in the top left corner of it, you can click it, and it takes up about half the screen.
Yeah, but I still can't see the skills numbers. I
Well,
can't tell
you
like what
shouldn't
my
need to.
investigation is.
Well, if it's investigations,
If it's-
intelligence.
Check marked.
So it's +1 then. So 10.
Then you know you had your proficiency. If it's not, you don't, and then you just line it up and go from there.
Yeah, it's not. So 10.
10 was the investigation to find a way in.
Yeah.
Okay. You look for a bit. You find a spot that, like, it should be able to fit through. You're able to move into the interior of the building.
Okay. And I'm just gonna start looking around for anything interesting. So, if you, Dax or whatever wants to do something.
Okay. So you step into the building. Roll a. We'll go with an acrobatics, basically, how well you can balance your weight and walk carefully.
Ho.
Nice.
You said acrobatics?
Mm-hmm.
That is Dex, which is +1, so 18.
Not bad. You're able to move around without falling through. You hear a number of times. Excuse me, sorry about that. The floor creaks and stuff, but you're able to not fall through.
I'm gonna say if we heard coughing, that'd be much more alarming. You know, the bugs are starting to learn how to cough, or they're
Yeah.
survivors.
So it's
Survivors
me
is
not
more terrifying.
being
thought.
able to make it to the
It's fine, dude.
mute.
Yeah, I was
looking there.
around. Yeah, I was looking around for anything interesting. So I guess a perception roll, or is there just nothing?
Yeah, roll a perception.
Okay.
Why is my key stuck? It's just automatically going to the ruler when I pick him up.
What'd you get?
I remember that being my proficiency bonus on here was wrong, so I gotta remember what it was.
Proficiency bonus should be right on there.
Not on that sheet. I had to change it last time.
Mhm.
Oh, proficiency bonus is 6 on this sheet, so it's 2
Yeah.
is what it currently is. Yeah.
And it's my perception is check marked, so which is
It's wisdom, so that's 2.
Yeah, 2. So what the hell did I roll? 13. No, yeah,
Yeah, 13.
or 15.
You find some sort of board or something on one of the walls that's kind of covered, and it has some writing.
Okay. Can I read it?
No.
Different language?
Yes.
Can I see it from where I am outside?
No.
So I'd have to step in to see it.
Where is Dex?
I'd be shining a light on you, trying to follow you around inside. Because I was given a flashlight.
And I
The
haven't
light
stepped
is
in yet 'cause
following
I'm
you.
Scared that I haven't stepped in because I'm scared that the floor's gonna give way again.
What did you say, Dex?
No, the flashlight. I'm just shining it at you. So I was trying to follow you as you went down.
But you are behind me then.
I'm outside.
Oh.
I don't know
He's
how far
poking
away
his
you
head
went, but
in there.
I'm looking inside, and you'd probably get blinded by the flashlight if you turn towards me.
Okay. But then next question, depending on how far away or you are, can I just talk to you or should I radio you?
We're not
I
that
don't-
far, are we?
I don't think you went that far.
No, it's a fairly large room, but it's not
Okay.
like you're 40 yards from him or something. It's
Okay.
It's also pretty empty.
20 to 30
I'm
feet.
imagining.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it's pretty empty, so it probably echoes loud too.
Okay, so hey Dax, can you follow me in and read what's on this?
Alright, I will try to creep inside.
Jade, I would recommend you staying there.
Carefully.
What's your acrobatics?
14 plus 5. 19.
You're good. You're able to move across the floor and not find any weak points. Spread your weight out
I'm-
well.
H8's now at the entrance.
I mean, the mini legs would help
looking
with
in.
that.
It would,
Yeah.
but if you find a rotten spot while you're walking, it still
So,
make you go through.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend HA coming in here.
I know, but here's the thing. I wanna see it so that GA sees it as well.
Well then here,
Well,
let me do this.
we're gonna see if we can get it off the wall, but I want to look at it.
Okay, okay,
It's
yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
crumble.
yeah.
Yeah, either that or I can take a picture with it with my helmet.
You have
Oh.
a camera?
I mean, cameras are pretty basic. We have cameras nowadays, so I feel like I should have a camera.
Or maybe it's part of your eyes.
Yeah.
Your cyborg eyes.
I don't
Always
think I've
spying
upgraded
on
my eyes
people.
yet. It's just the
Oh,
helmet that
darn.
gives me all this.
Gotcha. Nope. If you're showing me the sign, I'd like to inspect it. See if it makes any sense from what I know.
Rolling
I'll take a-
inspection.
I'll take a picture of it for
That
HA,
is-
but
Awful roll. This is too important. I'm gonna use this. Because why not?
You gonna use your inspiration?
Yeah, that's 20.
There you go.
Plus 6.
So yeah, you're able to move around behind it and open it up, or not open it, but find a way that you could potentially dislodge it from the wall. But it is connected to the wall as kind of like a bulletin board or something similar.
No, I was just trying to see what it is, or if it matched up the language we've seen so far in the other tablets from the first run.
Yes, it is writing similar to what
Okay.
you saw in the previous run.
And it's connected by like wires, or more like plant growth.
No, more like it was attached to the wall, and the plant growth has now kind of gone over top of it.
Man, what material did they use for it not to rust or anything? That's
can't read
impressive. No. They're still working on cracking that language back at the camp.
Okay.
Languages usually take a long time, though.
Yeah.
Especially if there's no reference for them.
It seems to be like a hard silicon based tablet that has been written on or etched on.
Do we have anyone with a plasma cutter still? Or laser?
Yeah. Yeah, I have one.
You still have one? Or
I
yours
still
got
have them.
converted?
Yeah, I still have them.
Oh, I thought they got converted to your new stuff.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Well,
But that's the thing, like, mechanically, they're kind of attached to me.
right.
Is it canonically? Wait, how is
Probably a
that
bit of
said?
both. Which one?
What? Canonically? Or...
Yeah, canonically.
Yeah, that's it.
That's canon, dang it. You can't change that.
No. So yeah, you can move in and try to do it, or they can try to take it off
Well,
yourselves without having H8 come in.
Your sword might do it, but it also might break it. It's the only thing I'm worried about.
Well, I'm
Is
not.
it
I'm not
just
worried about.
nailed?
I'm not worried about it, like the physical aspect. I just want
Wait,
I just want to see it, so I can show GA it, because that means more points for
I-
us.
What did I
Hey,
miss?
Deacon.
How's it on the wall?
Deacon, do you have an energy shield or energy sword?
I do. Yes.
Can you slide it behind this plate and get it off the wall?
Well, dime.
You can try.
What kind of roll is that?
Do an attack roll. Basically, how well you can control and hit precisely.
Lol.
Hmm. There you go.
Plus 4, 5, plus 6.
You happy with that roll?
What was it again?
14?
8 plus 6.
No, yeah, it's total 14.
I don't want to use that yet.
Oh, we can borrow one from across the table. They're not here.
True. I'm gonna use it.
Okay.
Is that the new rule?
I mean, if they aren't here, I don't know.
Well, that's way better.
I mean, I think it's fair, actually.
22.
Yeah.
Alright, so you're able to swing it underneath and nick it off at the supports. Able to come loose. Currently only being
Nice.
held by a few vines that's leaning against.
Cool. We should be able to take this back then. Without too much issue.
And H8 can get his
I
picture of it
pocket it.
without coming inside.
Yep.
So I guess me and Deacon will wrangle the vines to get them away so we don't damage it. Or damage it as little as possible. And then take it back to H8 so it can be scanned. And then probably take it back to
carried,
base
probably.
anyways. Just
Watch it
stash it in
in
your
the-
stomach, it'll be fine.
Watch when they translate it, it ends up being like a grocery list.
Honey, be sure to
Or
get the
warning,
eggs, the
landmines
milk.
ahead.
And be sure to feed the big monstrous creatures below the building.
No, it's a plaque that tells you this is a training building, a live fire training building. There are active mines in the vicinity.
Warning,
we
this
can't
is
read
a
it.
live exercise. Location.
What if it's literally
Multiple
just
hazards.
Like, and what if it's just an inspirational quote that someone just put up?
It could be that too.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Don't have a good day, have a great day.
When time gets
This
you
culture
down,
seems-
modify it and redo it.
Don't like your reality? Reject it and make your own.
This
I
ancient
mean-
culture seems very happy with themselves.
You know they were playing with time manipulation, so
Yeah. Oh geez, what if this whole freaking planet came back in time? Or went forward in time?
I just. Yep. Mhm. Yep.
Oh,
I was just made
That
a few
could be fun.
connections actually.
I don't want that to happen while we're on it. I want to ship off now.
you get back to your mom. She's, you know,
It's been 100 years.
ancient and she's like
Half my
barely
family's
alive. Yeah. Like your youngest siblings, like, 8 times older than you. Hi, Dax. Come meet my grandbaby.
Oh no.
My grand squid.
Jesus. That's awful.
But you guys still got to make it out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're walking this back over to H8. Or I am at least.
Yeah, I figured you guys gave him the board. What else do you guys want to do?
Alright, so H8 has the board.
Right, and I do look at it and then just kind of stow it away.
Make sure it's scanned and then stow it.
Yep.
Nice.
Got to give my baby all the information she needs.
How else is she gonna make happy little data babies?
Oh God.
Gotta make all those data bytes.
Alright, so what else you guys want to do?
Good question.
You want to start lobbing rocks around or stomping on the floor, seeing if you can fall through?
Hey Deacon, can you see a way down? I know your vision's better than mine in here.
Let's find out.
See if there's any staircases or anything like that.
No, I cannot.
Oh wow! These
My
girls are
thermal vision is on the fritz today.
Deke is currently
helmet's
looking.
malfunctioning. He's just tapping his helmet.
Yeah, he keeps looking up at some of those little bat squirrel things that you guys saw in the building before that are scurrying around and sliding up above the floor above through little holes. They don't seem like they want to be too close to you guys
Helmet
since you could be a
glitch.
threat.
One just lags.
So the answer is no, I can't see shit.
I mean, you probably could if you need to go, but for now, you don't see any. Sorry about that.
Okay, let's see. Well, I guess I'll look around and see if I can find anything. I do have a flashlight, so I do have that.
Yay. Let there be light.
You can also have glow sticks or glow stick.
I do. I have a whole glow stick resource.
Alright, so what was that roll for, Dax?
Oh, just to look around the room, which isn't great.
Okay. You look around this room, it looks like it's kind of found everything that's in this room.
Yeah,
You have a feeling it's probably a bit sparse simply from the fact that
Right.
it's so dilapidated.
does it look like there's any doorways or anything we can go through from this room, or?
Yes, there's a door that leads out,
Okay.
and it seems like the tree kind of in the center, and
Huh.
the floor is missing there, so you're going to have to be careful as you walk around the tree. But there are a number of almost
Yeah,
a
okay.
Hmm?
Yeah. No, keep going.
it's almost a what do you call it, where there's a floor that opens above.
Trapdoor or
No, like where there's, you know, when the
hatch?
top floor has an opening where you can see down onto the bottom floor because it's not a full floor.
Oh, gotcha.
A grate?
Okay.
It seems like one of those if it wasn't for the fact that there's a tree in the middle instead. So the trees kind of made it one of those instead of having an actual floor.
I feel like an overhang or a balcony.
Yeah, so basically like it looks like the tree is basically turned it into where it's just like a balcony all the way around.
Oh.
Instead of an actual, you know, large hall like the other building had.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm kind of shine my light in the doorway. Be like, okay, well, Deacon, what do you think?
Through the door,
Um,
there's a tree.
It's a tree.
It's a tree holding up a building, but yeah.
What do I think about it?
No. Think we should go that way or find a different way?
If there's a way to get around it, yeah.
I'm more scientist and engineer than military. I'm not a scout.
Technically,
Oh,
I'm
wait,
not
speaking
either.
of
I'm just a big
scouts,
thug.
hey Killian, come.
There you go. Hey, give me just one moment. I need to take care of a quick thing.
No problem.
Okay.
Come on, guys, show up already.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty obvious at this point.
yeah,
It's still so weird, though.
yeah. So something must have happened.
Well, I know with probably Cass, you know, he probably had issues like last week. He had issues. I get that, but I have no idea about Kai and
I mean, Kai, it doesn't surprise me, but he usually gives us a heads up.
Right, right.
No.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
All good.
So, what do you all decide you want to do?
That's what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
I failed this project.
Well, I'm just standing in the opening.
The floor gives way
Well,
underneath you and you
yeah.
fall 45 floors. Let's roll some
Okay,
damage.
campaign over.
Roll some damage.
no.
Oh god. Don't even roll at that point. Like, there's no point.
Well, yeah, there is, but okay. Well,
So,
I'm just the muscle, so
if you want to look at...
I'm just a bigger muscle.
our scouts are not here.
You can try to use theirs if you want. I'm okay with it if you want to look at their sheet and use it.
Alright, I
I
was
don't know,
like,
I kinda-
Killian, I believe, would probably be the best one for it, stat-wise.
He's actually combat
Yeah.
trained, some capabilities.
right now I kind of feel like we have 3 Skyrim followers. They're just
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is really disappointing. I was really hoping they'd make it. I know one of them said they really wanted to. Apparently life.
He's going whatever direction, climbing in and going towards the tree.
Okay, so he's gonna go in and go around the tree?
He's gonna scout around.
Okay.
So I think it's
So roll your...
acrobatics on getting there, right?
Yeah, acrobatics is the ability to try to move about the floor without, you know, trying to trigger their own placement.
Really? Well,
Oh no.
that's +5 still, but that's still only a 7. It rolled off the table. Ah.
Do you want to use the inspiration for it? His? Since you're having him do it?
Roll it this way. Don't let me down. Okay. Well, that'll do.
That'll
Now
do,
it's
Dice.
25.
That'll do.
At least my inspiration uses have gotten a crit so far.
That's right, your other one did crit. Oh,
Yeah.
oh my god, that's so funny.
So, he's able to very deftly and skillfully maneuver about and see that there's a number of other rooms that are adjoined off of this chamber that the tree is growing up through.
He does have dark vision.
Correct.
I say looking around, like, so he reports back that what he sees. He said there's a number of rooms, but is there any more like plaques or tree growth? Any signs of eggs?
Not
Anything interesting?
not around the
Right.
tree,
Okay.
but you didn't say you wanted him to, you know, go into all the rooms and scout them out.
Right.
Just around the tree, so nothing around the tree.
You said the floor was iffy around the tree because, or missing in some places around the tree.
Yeah, because the tree's kind of broken it. That you kind of just grew up through.
Well, if he looks down, can we like slide down the tree? Or is it more vertical than that?
It's probably not going to be the most comfortable for that because there's not really like a nice,
Right.
convenient gap down. It's more like the tree has grown and pushed the floor back to this point.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Not like it's, you know,
It's piercing through the floor and
yeah,
okay.
it's broken the floor up as it keeps growing.
In any of the side rooms, does it look like there's staircases or signs or anything?
Not that he had seen.
Okay.
Kind of just looked into the doorway when he was by them. Didn't really look around. Some of them seemed to have the excuse me, sorry, the doors shut, as it were.
Oh, the doors
Others
are still
don't.
there.
Some do, some don't.
Now, what's behind the locked doors? I want to know. Or the doors themselves. Not necessarily locked. Didn't check. Well, okay, yeah. Now I want to check the closed doors.
Okay.
Well, have him check the closed doors, I should say. See if they open or if they're all just stuck.
Okay, so you're gonna send him off to go try the doors on his own?
For the time being, yeah. Well, he can probably creep closer, but carefully. We'll see what he says. He has a radio.
Okay. Alien goes off by himself on the tree once more.
Can we do this stealthily?
Sure, roll stealth.
More like this right now. Oh,
Oh, come on.
you guys are inside more than me.
You guys!
Yeah, it's an 11. That's gonna stay.
It's stealth! Yeah, he's being very stealthy.
Or he's just walking normally.
Yep.
Maybe even a little heavy.
Nah, he would.
Just means that you basically moving at half pace, trying to be stealthy, and
Right.
not quite landing the feet in the right placement.
And they're squeaking
so quietly.
floorboards instead.
Right. It's like he's trying to like sneakily go along and just like So you guys see he like, turns and is like shh and sneaks out there, and that's what you guys hear.
I keep my flashlight on him.
After a bit he comes back. The first door won't open.
Well, do we feel like pursuing this further?
It's
And getting everyone in here?
it seems like it's like a standard door, but there's no power, so you can't like open it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, they would probably all be powered doors. Especially if they have seals on them. Well, no need to pound on the doors, because that'll draw way too much attention that we don't want.
I mean, you could try.
No,
Have
no.
H8 come in and hammer on the doors.
That would be a double bad idea, I believe. Because I have a feeling as soon as they step in the place, I'm going down a floor.
Oh, that's perfect. That's like a double negative, so that means it's a really, really good idea.
No. And I have a feeling like that door is probably way harder than even I could deal with at this point.
I mean, depending.
If it's
Comparatively.
if it's a powered door, it's gonna be at least like, steel or something.
Some sort of metallic construction?
Yeah, exactly.
You mean like the robots that you fought?
Open it instead of breaking it down. You could just force it open. Assuming we can get a good grip anywhere, anyways. I mean, you could stab holes in it with the energy sword and then grip there.
I mean, honestly, my plasma cutters were kind of designed for doing that kind of work originally.
Problem is,
What?
I want to find a way down without, going through the floor.
And I want to be able to go on the floor without, going down.
Going through the floor. I mean, what if you just step 1 foot inside and hang on to the outside wall real well? Give it a little test.
Yeah, let me throw my first die of the night and have that be on that.
Could be.
You know what?
You
Yeah,
never
you know
know.
I mean, yeah, H8, he's kind of like leaning in and looking at where Dax and Deke are, and he puts 1 foot in and just gives as much weight as he can without going down too hard. What would this be? Just a straight 16?
It should be probably athletics. Or not athletics, acrobatics.
Okay, yeah, I got zip and acrobatics. So 16s.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like obviously I'm still holding on. I'm just like putting weight down on to see if it falls.
The acrobatics also gives it basically how well you positioned yourself. Like on ice.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You don't
Yeah,
just stomp your 2 feet close together. Sometimes
Right,
you
right.
spread them out a
Yeah.
little bit, right? It's just basically how skillfully you kind of spread your weight out.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of a better skill to, kind of
No,
designate
it
that.
works. Yeah, no, it works.
That one kind of fit the best, I figured. So, yeah. You're able to stand on the floor. You hear it, creak some under you. So much the noises that Deke was stealthily making. Not Deke's, sorry, Killian.
And obviously Dax and Deke hear this creak of me coming in.
Yeah, they're actually, we're watching Killian stealth about and investigate everything for them. And they hear Killian behind them, actually, now. You guys turn and you see H8 stepping in.
Well,
Hey guys, what's going on?
If it'll support you, sure.
Well, for right now.
I guess I'm gonna make my way over to Dax and Deke first.
Okay.
I mean, step on the one supported by vines.
Yeah.
Whichever.
I'm just kind of slowly making my way. Every step is like really long because I don't want to pound down too much.
As far as I
Every
know, they
step
were
is
just by the
measured.
door.
What was that?
As far as I know, they were just by the door. So yeah, you can move over to the doorway, and join them.
All right. I'm at the doorway then.
What do you guys want to do?
So yeah.
Do you guys think we should try and go get that door open, or?
At that question, all I do is light up my plasma thing, plasma cutters.
Okay.
Or light up just one plasma cutter, just like this idea. So yeah, what I'm going to attempt to do is basically cut the door off the wall.
Or make a doorway within the door.
Well, I think it'd be easier to cut the doorway off and then just make that the doorway.
Depends on what type of door it is.
It does depend on what kind of door it is.
We're trying to be stealthy, right?
Not really. We're just
Why?
trying not to make a lot. Like, we're trying not to fall through the floor more than being quiet.
How structurally sound is this door? Can we just kick it?
Don't know. This side,
Well, that's
it
another thing.
looks like it's full.
It would Yeah, I mean, then that would definitely cause noise. But with my plasma cutters, I could possibly, cut it and then just kind of like ease it out.
Think of like
This would go interesting.
sci-fi
I
doors, how
mean,
they
of
like
course.
open up, like they're metal like sliding doors.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, then no. Let me change it.
There's no kicking.
Let me. I want to cut the middle, or I want to make a hole in the middle so that I can pry better with my hands.
So the slides to the sides or slides up? Like splits in half and slides to the sides, or the whole thing goes up?
You're not
Yeah, I
sure.
gotta know what kind of door this. Oh,
Gotcha.
is it okay? Is it one whole thing?
Is there a
I like-
seam in the middle?
Yeah, is there a seam in the middle? Right.
There is
Really?
a seam.
What are you doing?
It's not
There
in
is
the
a
middle. It's kind of diagonal,
Diagonal.
and it's not
Okay.
like a normal straight slice through.
Oh no.
What?
It's kind of a S curve sort of shape to it.
So it's
Why would
closer
you
to a
design a
blast
door
door
like that?
Who does?
to withstand blasts,
Oh, at multiple layers.
Maybe, maybe not.
or it's
Okay,
an airlock of some kind.
If I knock on it lightly, can I use my sensors to see kind of how thick it is?
You can
Or
knock
to
on
get
it.
an idea? Well, I didn't. I mean, I can knock on it, but
Didn't say
But
if you can
would I
get
be-
results or not, but you
okay.
can knock on it.
Well, I just want to like tap on it. Really, very slight tap.
You just need vibrations for his sensors to detect.
yeah, yeah.
Roll an int check.
Int. Okay.
Yep.
No problem.
Your favorite skill.
No, actually, I actually have an extra bonus in that one. Oh God. 8.
It doesn't quite feel like a metallic substance.
Hmm.
It seems familiar, but you can't quite place it. But it's not metallic. And you
Oh.
don't know how thick it is.
Can I take my energy sword and shove it in the crease, crack, whatever?
I mean, there's a number of creatures with cracks and creases here that you could shove an energy sword in.
You know what I mean.
I'm staying behind everybody.
You could try to put it
Away
into
from
the
the
door.
energy swords.
I want to try to do that to pry it a little bit, and then maybe HA can use that to use his
Try and
hands
open it.
or pry it.
Okay. Roll an attack for basically designating precision.
Ooh.
Hey.
That's gonna be +6.
23.
There, you're able to line it up fairly well and it slid right in the crack between the 2 spots in the door. What you think is the 2 parts of the door.
All right, then I try to.
Are we able to see the other side, or is the crack not that big?
Not right now.
Okay.
I try to pry it a little bit. I don't want to like break the sword or anything. Just kind of test the strength of it, integrity.
Seems like it's fairly sturdy.
Can I push it enough to where HA can get his hands? He's not really humans. What are they? Like.
They're still
hands.
hands.
I
They're
do.
still
I do have
hands.
hands. Yeah,
Okay. Can you put your hands in there and get a grip on it?
yeah. I mean, once you get the energy sword out of it.
Well, as soon as I pull that out, it's gonna close back.
Okay, but put my hands by your energy sword. It's gonna be bad for me.
I'm prying it, so there's plenty of other places.
Oh, okay, okay. As long as it's like not right there by the sword. Yes, I'm.
I mean, it'd be fairly
I'm
close
trying
to the
it.
sword, but
I know, but I think it'd be okay, right? Yeah, we'll see.
Don't be afraid of me.
So yeah, I put in both of my hands and try to pry the one side upward
Okay.
because it's diagonally. It's weird.
Whichever diagonal direction it looks like it's going.
Yeah, exactly.
Roll a strength check.
And while he's doing that, I'm gonna take the sword
Are you
with
kidding
my
me?
right hand. Hang on.
Hey, you got
I'm
2
gonna take-
tokens.
I'm gonna take the sword with my right
Oh,
hand
no.
and use my left hand, which is my cyborg arm, to help him.
Okay.
I'm also using inspiration to reroll that too. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. +5.
Double nat 20.
Oh
Double
man.
that, and I got a
Pretty
+5. I got a +5, so mine's 25.
Yes.
Plus
so
4 strength.
you guys
Damn,
just
dude.
Please
Pop
let
it
something amazing
open.
happen.
Wait, what?
you guys just pop this thing open. Just like boing, boing.
Like without E. Damn.
You're like, hey,
I
that,
look
not
at
too
Deke
bad.
with after it's done, give him a thumbs up, nod.
Hell yeah, brother. I honestly can't believe that worked, especially with
I-
you. Jordan.
Yeah.
that is funny.
How
Yeah.
How much did we blow it out of the water though?
Good bit. Good bit.
Okay.
So
good
yeah,
to know.
you guys shoved it wide open, like it's all the way open. Like you actually heard it like stripping the gears and everything that would be used to open it. It's like
I hear they're grinding. I'm just like peek around the corner with the flashlight, looking at.
but it's they rolled high enough that it's not like they were sitting there.
Right.
Like, literally, I tugged.
It was
once
more
and
about
just went,
So yes, it made a bit of noise and vibrations, but it didn't last very long.
Well, there isn't exactly solid ground under us right now, so.
Well, I think someone with good perception now should check out the room.
Yeah.
Well, how big is the room? How big is
No, it's open. Killian it starts looking around inside. Well, actually, Deacon has the dark vision too. He could see inside the room. He was right
Yeah.
there.
It's about the same
figured-
size as the previous room.
I figured Killian was right there too.
Probably.
Roughly about 60-foot room.
That's dark, I assume.
Yeah.
Anything of note?
There are no notes that you've seen thus far.
Killian scouts inside. Since he is our scout.
Is he still stealthed?
Oh, not really. I think that failed the moment I went to the door. Jeez.
So sneaky Killian goes in and takes a look about. Go ahead and roll a perception.
Don't fly off the table again. You know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Not
Roll
bad.
away! So 15
Oh.
for Killian.
+6. He is skilled in perception and has +4 bonus to wisdom.
Wow.
That's 21.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So he's able to surmise a number of items in this area. It looks like it was a storage room or
Ooh.
records room, something like that.
I'm guessing I determined the same thing because my roll was 22.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd say with Killian, he'd probably be like, "Hey, Dax, there's some books and stuff." You say records, and Dax is like, "I want to know."
Can I make a request because I'm visual? Can you draw the room out?
I mean, it's just kind of a room,
I know,
but yeah.
I'm a visual guy.
Wow. Sorry.
It doesn't have to be like accurate down to the inch. Just a rough.
About like that.
Oh. Big circular
Oh.
room?
It's a circle room?
Semicircle, anyways. Partial circular.
Huh.
A lot of their rooms seem to be, in buildings, seem to be circular in shape or semicircular.
Alright.
Good to know.
Yeah, let's position ourselves so we know like where we came in, where the next door is, all that.
You're basically have Killian peeking in the door. We'll say the door's there for kicks and giggles. And so the tree would be back over there, sort of thing. If you guys remember, we said that the trees on this planet that you guys are seeing are kind of like, you know, rainforest size trees, like, you know, redwood girth
Yeah.
and
Okay.
size. Like, they're not like little deciduous forest trees. These are massive trees. Just want to make sure that
Oh,
the
yeah.
image of the trees was
Ewoks at one
accurate.
point.
Hmm?
I think you mentioned Ewoks at one point.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
because you know the Ewoks have little trees.
I literally was just thinking, why am I thinking of Ewoks and the moon of Endor? and then you said that, I was like, oh, that's right.
They
Okay.
mentioned it as
These
one of the
trees are
many
probably-
references.
These trees are probably old as the planet itself.
Not growing inside the buildings, probably. Well, I don't know, maybe. If they were already here in the
Facts.
middle and then
not
grew
the ones,
out.
not the ones in the buildings, but the ones out.
Right. Yeah, they're
Potentially.
freaking enormous. But I want to inspect the things.
Yeah, inspect all the things.
I want to inspect the things.
Go ahead and roll your acrobatics to see how well you're able to move about. I'm tempted to almost have you roll at disadvantage with your distractedness, but I won't.
+5, so 12. Not the best.
You're able to keep yourself from falling through the floor, but yeah, you have a few spots where kind of
Got a little shaky there for a
holes.
moment.
Yeah.
If I didn't have extra limbs, it'd probably be really bad.
If you're H8 with that roll, you probably would have needed to make a dex save.
Oh boy.
I'm glad I'm late.
H8, how about you come in and help Dax?
Until he asked me to, I'm staying right here now.
H8 do not move.
So that'd be investigation to
Mhm.
thoroughly check through the room.
Though the funny
on.
thing is, as meta as this is, like AJ probably would be thinking like a voice telling him to go follow Dax. So you kind of were like the voice inside his head is like leftover
Mhm.
programming. Like,
You're not being a bodyguard. You're not on his tail.
then you have a virtual
Yeah.
AI that wants to scan everything. So
yeah, but she has no control over me though.
No.
She doesn't.
That's still 16, but I'm a little disappointed in that.
Yeah, you're able to find a number of items. It looks like it used to be some sort of documents, but they're worn out. You can't really recover much on them.
Okay.
A few crates look like they held something. So it looks like it's sort of a supply room, records room sort of thing.
Are all the records like just totally ruined, or is there anything recoverable?
Not sure. It'd take you a while
Anything
to
that could
figure
help
that out.
deciphering their language.
It would take you a while to sort that out. So we'll, if you want to do that, we can, and we'll basically just have you on pause there, doing research.
Okay.
If the others want to do something while you're doing this, I just want to
I
give them an
mean,
opportunity.
I would
That
would
is
say,
what
can't we,
Jack would get distracted by.
right, but like also, couldn't we just like get one of those crates and put everything we find in it? Because you said there was empty crates there.
Containers. You're not sure what kind
Yeah.
of container they originally were.
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't really holding themselves together too well,
Oh, okay.
which is why it would take quite a while to try to find records that haven't eroded, sort of thing, because a lot of them are just been, left here
Yeah.
I have to get
In
lucky
the
and
weather.
find the sealed package.
But they are like paper documents, I'm assuming, or something like paper.
Something, yeah.
Well, we got to bring back at least even just that. Whether we can find anything from it.
And we can still analyze the
I mean,
old parchment and see what it's made of. So
a lot of them are
Right.
It's still
just
something.
scraps and little pieces, not so much actual documents. But
Who
I
knows what
figured
our
you guys
fancy
probably
eye
are
is
smart
marked.
enough to know that something left and aged would fall apart to a certain degree. So, anything you guys want to do while Dax sits here peering over all the items, trying to figure out if you can salvage any?
I'm just making sure we don't get attacked.
HA points out the other door, the other locked door, and then like ignites his plasma cutter to Deacon.
You do what now?
Do you want to
Oh,
open
I-
another door? Is
Yeah, you want
basically
to open
what
the other door?
he asked.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And before we fail miserably.
I mean, it can't be as good as last time, but
Never know.
okay. So the other door would be what, like over here then?
There's a number of doors that go all the way around.
Okay.
So basically, if you take this kind of room and go inside it, there's more.
Oh, okay. So this is
So if we
another.
make a,
This is more door. Okay.
so if we have this be kind of the building you guys went in, well, it's not quite the right shape because it's supposed to be more of an egg shape than a straight circle. Then there's a bunch of circular rooms within it,
Ah,
and there is a big tree in the center.
I see. So basically,
kinda
the
like
tree in the
that.
center leads to all the rooms.
It's
Right.
a puppy paw.
Except that the tree is more, growing out of the middle of the building than
Right.
leading to the rooms.
Oh, I see. But there is a central room though.
Yes,
Okay.
that is where Killian kind of creeped around the edge of the
Right.
tree.
Okay. So there should be a door to the left and the right in this room. If I'm getting it correct.
In the room? Or
In this.
outside the room next to it?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So there's like a hallway. Okay, yeah, I got you.
So this big area right here is one of these little rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
like this area, it's not like I can come out or. Yeah, I have to come out to do this. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
you
doors
can't
that
walk
join.
directly across because
Right,
there's a
right,
tree
right,
in the way, so you have to
Yeah,
kind
Yeah,
of
because
shimmy
if
your
we
way
go back
around.
out the door,
So then
came
we'd
in.
be like right about here then, for the next one.
Yeah. Ish.
Yeah. I just wanted to, note that we were in a different room now.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Deke, but what did you roll?
Excuse me, sorry. 13 plus 4.
Deke wants to camp next to the tree and light a fire.
Yep.
He lights the
Normally
tree on
I
fire and the whole
push-
tree goes up.
I have push talk on normally, and I don't right now.
It's all good.
Yeah, 20 for me. We're obviously doing the same process that we did
Okay.
last time. That worked.
This one's actually not fully shut. It's almost like it broke
So we
down.
don't have to. Okay. We
Um,
don't have to do the whole thing.
But you
No
do.
need to do the energy sword, but we can pry it
Right.
open.
Yeah.
So you guys working together are able to, with the roll you got, press it open.
Cool.
Sweet. What's inside? What's inside?
Technically, you're the only one I can see inside right now, so.
What do we see?
Roll.
Ooh. Perception?
Mm-hmm.
+4, so 24.
This room looks to be like
Sorry, 23.
a lab room or something.
I messaged Dax. Hey, I see test tubes or something that looks like lab equipment in here.
Crap.
Slither on over here.
So am I going to stay with the documents and
My
try to
work.
get them?
My
Or
work.
am I going to head to the lab?
My other work. My other work. Are they intact?
You don't know.
That'd be his reply.
Okay, for my answer, because I'm messaging him directly right now, so I have to answer him. So I guess I have to roll a perception.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unless you
You
just
just
ask
ask
the...
me.
Yeah. So, is anything broken, Deke? No, that works because I can't see anyway. I just realized that.
Is
Yep.
anything broken, Dime?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's some things broken.
There's something.
But not
broken.
everything.
He asked you if some things were broken. Some things are broken.
And that's all I simply message. Some things are broken. Back to Dax.
What you see is different than what you
What-
would say. What you
say.
see is
Yeah,
there's...
I know.
Well,
If-
Dax immediately was like, well, that doesn't mean they're all broken. God damn it.
You see, it looks like...
stuff away as much of the mostly intact papers as I can and then hurry over.
Okay.
Well, not hurry. It's still too deep. Like, you gotta be careful still.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to.
You're supposed to be over here too. He was watching me, now he's gonna come walk. Guard.
So you guys are able to go into that room. You wish?
I wish.
Roll your acrobatics.
Don't fail me now.
Get a 1.
You failed me now. That's a 5. Good sir.
Nice.
13.
Oh God.
13
Can it
for
be
you?
athletics instead?
No.
Okay.
Unless you can think of a good way to argue it. I don't see a way it works in this.
Okay. Well, if I trip because of my low acrobatics, it then turns into athletics to save my trip.
I can see you doing that.
Yes.
So you go into the room first. And the floor gives out underneath you. So roll a dex save. Basically, it's your, reaction sort of thing.
Whew. 17.
17? Okay. You're able to kind of catch yourself. And so now if you want to use your athletics to kind of pull yourself up and along, you try to get out of the way.
Come on. 13.
It's enough to at least move over a little bit and not be
Okay.
blocking people from being able to go through and increasing their chance to go down the hole. Which is, the main thing, right?
Hey guys, be careful with that hole right there that I just created.
As you're like half still hanging inside of it. Like it's like
There's a hole here.
There's a flashlight down here. Yeah, I'll definitely avoid that. Thanks for the warning.
Welcome.
Now I have to inspect this room too.
Right. So, what was your total packs? You said yours was 13.
It was 8 plus 5. Yeah, 13.
Okay. So you're able to avoid it, but it's close. You notice that there's a number of files and stuff, and you're able to do investigate
Broken,
if you
filled, empty.
want. Some are broken.
Alright, investigate. Dang it. That's still 17, but...
Also, I am looking around the room now that there's light, just so GA gets all that she needs.
Okay. Yeah, with light scanning about it due to flashlight, you definitely can, scan it.
See everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of it is dried out and stuff. It doesn't look like there's necessarily, liquids remaining due to the fact that it's been who knows how long.
Are there like any computers, some hard drives I could nab? Research notes.
I would
any
still,
kind.
I
More
would still
tablets.
I would still suggest taking some of the vials because there might be like just a residue that we can't even see in them.
It'd be a good thing to ask GA once she scanned them.
I mean, she scanned them. She didn't. I don't think she would know. Like,
Yeah, you'd have to have a pretty good
yeah, like analysis. of it.
sensor.
Like, take it back to the scientist, basically.
Gotcha.
Basically, dry chemical remnants on a vial is not something that you're like, yeah, no, there's some
Right.
there.
I can't perceive that. Yeah.
Was there anything else of note?
Um,
Or that's mostly it.
there's a few other devices, you don't know what they are.
Oh.
But there's no computers. Device is kind of, generic term of it's a widget, you don't know what
Right.
it is.
How big are the devices?
Kind of a spherical object about the size of a basketball.
Oh, well, let's take that shit. Oh, sorry. My bad.
I mean, there's no sphere creature that's taken a dump that you've seen, so I mean, it's probably not that.
I didn't say I picked it up. I was just making a suggestion. All right.
You said you wanted to pick
Well-
that, fecal matter up.
That
I'm
was
just saying.
that was an
it's-
expression, not an order. What I was doing.
Oh. I thought you were entering the room to pick up some fecal matter.
Just a-
No. Oh. I don't think it makes it better that I said it though.
Well, I definitely want to take a closer look at the weird orb thing. Like pick it up and hold it up to H8 and see what the AI says about it.
Unknown.
Unknown means I want it. Okay, we're taking this with us.
I mean, I'm the pack mule, so I guess I'm carrying it. I'm gonna call this spherical device.
Are you also carrying the other thing?
The board with writing, yes.
Yes.
I have it on the. I've been writing them on this group inventory sheet here.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing all items like that. Okay, good. Never mind.
Yeah,
I won't
although
even
for
bother
some
that.
reason, my rations keep getting replaced
What?
with
W's?
yeah.
I don't.
Why is that?
Because I'm assuming because he leaves it on the text edit when he's trying
Oh,
to
I
take
was
it away
clicked
from it.
off.
Oh.
Or you could just accidentally click on it and it might. Well, no, because usually that goes highlights everything. So I don't know why it's just
Lock it.
first line.
You can unlock it and lock it with this little thing right here.
Yay! All right.
But that's part of what I gave you those cards for, so you guys can keep information like that.
Yeah, because then it's
Oh.
here on the table. Everyone sees it, especially the three
You
that
should
weren't here.
also put the like paper substance things that we had too. Or that
What is
you
that?
guys,
Yeah.
you grabbed a few of those.
That way, if someone's out, you have access to, details about them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I mean, I know these character sheets aren't the easiest to use on this format and everything, but it does give you the ability where, like, you guys could use Killian if he's not here, sort of thing, like you've done. Which, if we have nothing,
We could also, download from Drive the
Correct.
characters
Yeah.
for everyone if we need them. So
but the thing is,
I mean, they're not always updated. I know that.
right, and you may not always want to grab it. It at least gives you a reference point that is available that you could easily.
Right, and honestly, it might be more. It's going to be the one that's on the table anyway, so it's just going to be easier to deal with.
Yep. And I mean, that's part of why I did it, was just to try to make it where it's there if the need arises. And that's kind of the whole point.
I have a out of character question. I've been thinking about this all session for some reason. Can I ask GA where our status is about basically leveling up?
You're level 3. You just recently made level 3.
Oh, that's right. We haven't given any more. That's right. Never mind.
We only get
Because
points or whatever.
I thought we get the points too when she sees things as well. I thought that would be like, but I guess it's just the items.
It could be still needing to evaluate the value of what you found.
Gotcha.
So it could be when the results are in, yes.
Yep, I gotcha. Okay.
But there has to be an evaluation done,
Right.
stating, hey, this is an unknown is an unknown, right?
Right.
So you currently have
yeah.
XP of question mark that you've earned.
Right, because we have the items, but they haven't been evaluated yet. I get it.
Right.
Now.
You don't know how much they're worth. What kind of impact are they going to have? And that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, that's why I kind of changed it and made it where it's like that. So killing monsters, quote unquote, isn't what gets you your level.
Yeah, it's
And I wanted to think of a good way to get away from that.
the
because,
data. It's the data, basically.
right. And so you do
You're
get
getting-
some XP for creatures because there's some data, but that's not the primary.
I have a theory. I'm not going to say anything, but I have a theory.
What?
No, it's an overarching theory. Because I
But
know
I-
you have a plan.
I'd like
No.
to hear it.
No, I'm not going to do it on the stream, especially. Come on.
Why not?
No, stop it.
I love hearing speculations.
Well, we'll talk after stream then.
Okay.
If it's coming from ISO, I would be very wary of saying it on stream.
No, I have a theory. Trust me. Mm-hmm. I also don't like telling the person creating stuff that I have a theory. Like, I don't want to tell you.
I
Because
expect
whether
you
I'm
guys to
right
have
or
theories,
wrong-
but I also expect you to realize I'm not you. You might be
I
wrong.
know that. I understand. No,
Oh, no, I know you
we
do.
talked about
It's-
this. We talked.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. If it's not that, I'm gonna be happier probably because I didn't think of it.
That's the thing. A lot of times I may or may not even answer you. However, I like hearing people's ideas because sometimes you can incorporate some of those.
Yeah, and I know sometimes like someone has an idea,
And
and you might
sometimes-
not like that whole idea, but there like parts of it you might
Mhm.
like that would work with what you're planning.
And sometimes it's great to hear them just so I can have a great laugh because it's so far off. I could be like, okay, well, they're definitely heading down the wrong branch. Perfect.
Exactly what I wanted.
Well, here's the thing. I've done this a few times, where not in D&D games, but other things, where I will predict something, tell someone about it that is involved in it, and they kind of like they felt bad. Like they didn't tell me till after like it was all done, but they were like, "Dude, you had it," and like I felt like I needed to change things because you figured it out.
Oh, I
And
don't
was like,
care. No,
no,
I don't. If you figure it out, great. You know, I don't
But
care.
also, I don't want to know. That's the
Mhm.
thing. That's
Well,
because
during
like
this-
slang through.
During this
Alright.
moment of speculation, can I request a break?
Sure, we can do a 5-minute break.
All right, cool.
Someone
We'll be
needs to
right back,
potty.
everyone.
Yes, I'll be right back.
All right, everyone. Give us just a moment. We'll be back. All right. Sorry about that. Get to the mute button in time. Welcome back. It does, and I hate it. But that's the life. You're feeling a little under the weather. So,
I know we're just getting back. I'm just going to ask a stupid question because I'm curious. What button do you use for mute?
it varies. Right now it's caps lock or move the microphone up out of my face.
I like the addition of the analog choice.
I mean, it works. It mutes it.
Caps lock. That's actually really good.
I'm gonna mute
How do you
myself
use
right
caps
now.
That
Sorry,
one was partially
I have
selected.
a hotkey, so I have like 2 keys
Yeah.
that I do, and I was thinking of like what key I could just use to
Yeah.
be a quicker one, but
I use caps lock for mute unmute, partially due to software software requirements because the streaming software only lets you use certain keys for hotkeys, and then also certain other games and stuff use certain keys, for reserved
because you're
hotkeys.
streaming too. I forgot about that. Oh, I noticed, by the way, somebody put up some episodes on YouTube.
I don't know what you mean.
So go watch those if you haven't seen any of the episodes.
Yeah, I've been trying to get them all up there.
Insert shameless plug here.
Well,
Hey.
It's also a scary thing because I've never searched anything on YouTube, either D&D or Dime. So it's basically from just like Discord text maybe or Twitch maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, out there, everyone
Is-
knows what you're doing.
Yep. I put them up there so that we have it and you guys can review it. I've been behind on trying to get them there, and those are actually pre-scheduled to be released now over the time period for a while.
Cool. Nice.
Hey, G3 found me on YouTube.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised I didn't click that before now.
Can't even
Normally I do.
show me up. I see something. I make it. I didn't even think about it. Damn
Oh,
it.
thanks for letting me know about it. I totally
No,
missed the
I'm
YouTube
just
button.
mad because I didn't like immediately just go into the video and subscribe. Like,
It's alright, man. So, I've had actually one video that's done fairly well, but still no one subscribed and no one commented, no one did anything.
dude, you have more subscribers than I ever had in like my 3 or 4 year barely doing anything. No. Oh no, I did subscribe to you. Come on now. Yes.
Yeah, he just did.
No, I didn't just do it. I
Yeah.
have been subscribed to you.
Yeah. No, I was saying he just did it.
When did I subscribe to you?
Let me see. Does it say in here?
What? I think this is a me drinking adult beverages too much
Are you?
kind of thing.
What is your YouTube name?
Isolated Geek.
Okay.
Or actually, no, it would be William McNeil. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Yeah, on stream. Oh well.
Sorry.
Like I'm famous enough to fucking get back. Oh my god, cheese! I'm sorry. Cheese. Cheese.
Oh wow.
I don't see when you subscribed, which means it's been for a while, anyways.
But that. Yeah. I mean, I probably did it. No, when would I have done that? I don't even remember. Okay, let's move on. I'm
Probably a
I'm
month
getting
ago or
anxiety.
so.
Well, yeah, it was obviously after we started playing, but like I don't know why it would have come up where I would subscribe to your YouTube, unless we were talking about YouTube at some point. And you said
We
you
did.
had a YouTube.
We did.
Oh, we did.
I said
Okay.
that was putting all of them over there.
I put my hands
Because-
up, and that was all adult beverages. That yep. Yep.
Twitch doesn't let you save the video forever. And so that our sessions aren't lost, I moved them to YouTube so that we still have them.
It's like 30 to 60 days in most cases.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Might be longer now, though.
unless you're affiliated or
It's actually less now. It's like 14 days, I think, now.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. It's a lot of server space.
For anybody who isn't a affiliate or partner, yeah, it's very small. I think affiliate you might get a little bit more leeway, but partner is the one that gets 60 days.
Yeah, partner gets babied. So, it's what it
I
is.
totally forgot I put a how-to video up on my YouTube, and it's got like 8.6 thousand views.
Yeah.
Now, if you make it a
What?
highlight,
Holy
if you
shit!
make it a
dude,
highlight,
what?
that stuff will stick around a long time.
Yes, the highlight and clips stick around longer.
Dude, I was happy when I got like 30 likes on mine.
I've not got 30 likes on any of mine. However, I have had one that had a lot of views. It was actually for This Land Is My Land. I talked about how to get proper names on that game.
Or no, I'm sorry, it was views, not likes.
Whew. I've got 201 likes on that video.
Jeez.
Wow.
That was about 2 years ago. No, it was a year ago.
I have
So-
2
It's
new
just some random-
subscribers recently.
It's a random video.
I wonder who that could be.
Right? I'm actually
I
trying to
really
find the
wanted
one
to
I was
I
talking
really
about.
wanted to play Morrowind on my Mac.
Oh, here you go.
on my
Yeah,
player.
This Land Is My Land is at 225 views last 28
66.
days.
66 views is the highest I ever got on a video. And honestly, I'm sure a good part of that was mine. Like if when you look at my views on my channel, it's literally mostly me.
Hmm.
And honestly, don't sub because I'm never posting again. But I just put it in the thing just because. Okay, let's get to the game. There's been such deviation today, but it's that kind of day. I think you know.
It is that
like,
kind of day.
Yeah, we're having fun. You know, like it's just, it is what it is.
Fun is all that matters. I
Yeah.
mean, even more so when half the party's missing. So
Yeah,
Well, you
fun is all
know.
that matters.
Exactly.
Oh, it's up in views. It has 1,000 views.
Nice.
Damn.
For this one. And no comments. Average view duration of 58 seconds.
Wow.
So
Oh, yeah, that's not what I was looking at. No.
Oh, that is brutal.
Oh yeah, that does suck.
no, there's that.
Oh, hey, new Von Biomes.
So it's has a lot of views, but not a lot of actual watching. This other one that is only 7 minutes long, that was the kind of like, hey, this is how the naming works, is 7 minutes long and only has an average view duration of 1 minute and 17 seconds, which means most people don't actually watch the whole thing even.
Yeah, I never looked that deep into it. I could tell I wasn't getting views after long enough. I was like, oh yeah, okay. That's fine. I do not have the personality to be a gaming online person, whatever you want, streamer, YouTuber, whatever.
That's fine. And that's the thing.
no, I
It's
tried,
not.
man.
It's not meant for everyone
Yeah.
by any means.
Definitely not.
Yeah, well, G3's done a lot more than I've done.
Hmm?
At least,
Oh, yeah. My problem is consistency,
yeah.
especially
too.
right now.
Considering my last video was like over a year ago. Yeah.
Well, I had a
We're just
bit
a
of
bunch
a
of aging.
still out on
We're all
mine
just
too.
getting older and hoping we could like get into this market because it suits us. Ugh.
All right.
Honestly, I'm glad I did it, and after a while, I didn't do it for money or like the thought of like getting, bigger or whatever and making money. It was more of just like recording these moments in gaming that I loved.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of where I was at not even towards the end. Like when
I
I
mean,
realized I wasn't gonna like break out. Like,
if you want to do it to make it and actually do it,
it never worked.
you have to do it totally differently. You
Yeah,
can't do it just and let it be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for it to succeed and work on it and make it something, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
going
of course.
to do what's needed to make it work in the sense of I'm not going to play that game that I don't like.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yep.
A lot of people
Play a game just because it's like popular at the moment, like
Mhm.
Among Us.
There's a lot of games that you could, get a lot more views if I would, go and do this game or that game.
Yeah.
Or, go and lose my mind and decide to play Fortnite, There's
No,
that sort of stuff.
You've got to
well,
play
not the battle royale, anyways.
You have to play the
battle royale
YouTube
ruined
game.
everything.
It
So,
was really fun save the world mode, wasn't it?
Yep, but then it
Yeah.
just got completely overshadowed by the shit show that is Fortnite Battle Royale, which is now all that anyone ever knows it for.
Yep.
wait, there's something other than that?
It started.
kidding,
as
I'm
like
kidding,
a-
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. You got me on that one.
Yeah, I was like, this sounds awesome. A co-op I can play with my friends and build bases and stuff. This is cool.
I wish I would have.
And then they got rid of-
yeah, and that, like a few $100s worth in that. 'Cause, I had money.
I would have totally played that with you co-op too.
Yeah, then a battle royale came out and just
Made it terrible.
no, just no one really plays it anymore. Everyone started avoiding the game because the battle royale stuff.
Well, I mean, they still update it, but not that much.
That's the thing. Like, once they see that that's where their cash cow is, they ignore
right.
the
Yep.
other people because, like,
But,
oh, well, you're
okay,
not making
but,
us as much money, so we don't care about you.
Give some positivity to talking about Fortnite. I do like them because they change up things all the time, and they basically keep a game that should be stale fresh
Mhm.
for a younger audience, mostly.
Right.
For a bunch of kids who are going to spend their parents' money and get their parents mad at them that they're buying their battle passes.
Well, their parents shouldn't be, giving them credit card number. I don't know.
Or, make sure they're not like me when I was younger that can memorize a credit card number. That was before I understood how money worked. That was in my
Oh yeah, the old credit card.
early teens.
The credit card is unlimited kind of feeling, right?
Well,
It's just a piece of plastic. You mean it's not?
Yeah, it's just a piece of plastic. I'm not
this
giving
is how I
anything away.
buy things online. Use this thing. That was before the security code was added to cards and everything. This is a long time ago.
Yeah, we're old.
No.
I used to
Some
take
more
my
than
mom's
others.
credit card.
Yeah, because that was
Very
over 20 years ago.
Deke, God.
I used to take my mom's credit card and use it for WoW subscriptions. She'd be
Wow.
my equalizer.
Yep.
Actually, I remember what game it was that got me in trouble. 10-6. So this is 97 to 2000.
Wait, there was microtransactions back then?
It was one of the first MMOs. Well, million player MMOs, anyways.
So there's subscriptions more so than
Right.
microtransactions.
There's subscription, and then there was packs that you could buy in games. So it was one of the first microtransaction games too. When $200 disappeared, I found out that money didn't just grow on trees.
Oh God.
How'd that go?
I was grounded for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do a lot of chores.
Oh man,
That's
I've
crazy.
been there.
Well, should we get back to the game and?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
Guys, this is a personalizing stream. We're just all just learning about each other and having fun. That's
Well,
Tell
you
me you
know.
have ADHD without telling me you have ADHD.
this stream.
oh god, that just made me laugh so hard. Oh. Okay.
So back in the building, where you all find
test tubes and
yourselves.
stuff.
Yes. How are your tubes? You're examining tubes and making sure
No,
you
the
wanna...
orb. We just picked up an orb, and I
We picked
shoved
up
it
the
in
orb. Yeah.
HH's chest.
I do
Please take
think
this back for me.
I do think you should pick up at least a few vials just to analyze.
All right. Nope. Not that one. This one.
And obviously I would not go for a broken one because we don't need you accidentally cutting yourself.
I mean, that could
I
be
don't wanna cut
amusing.
No, it'd be my suit, which I still don't want to
Oh,
cut.
true. Well, I would believe the suit would withstand that kind of.
That would be like putting my little security case so they don't touch anything.
Right.
I'm sure these, random chemicals or substances that they were working on, none of them would have any sort of problem for you.
At this
Not while I'm in my suit, at least.
He gets a
Hey,
scratch
anything
and
else?
mutates
Look, I
into a
didn't-
creature and dies.
I didn't like the fact that we brought back this is out of character. I didn't like the fact that we brought back an egg to the scientist. Like I'm going back and
I mean,
telling
for
you
all
all
we know,
this out
they're
of
cooking
character.
it.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted an egg.
We're
it's
just gonna
good
get
data.
back, and there's just gonna be everyone's gonna be dead, and there's gonna be worms everywhere.
We go
right,
back.
back
There's
to the
someone in the
game, back
med bay with a thing latched on their head.
Oh no, Starship Troopers again!
Stomach is burst open.
Oh, a little bit of aliens in there too. Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, he collects all the stuff he can.
Dude, that scene is so good. Because the director didn't tell them anything. They
Which-
didn't know what was gonna happen.
What, the chest
The
burst?
aliens.
So
The aliens.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the aliens one.
Well, why do you
That's why
think they all
it's still
stumbled
amazing to
over
this
and
day.
screamed?
I mean, honestly, one of the most tried and true tricks as a director is to leave things
Genuine
out for
fear.
people. Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, if you want it to be the proper quality, you have to do things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yep.
That's a good director right there. That's what it is.
They won't be
Okay,
happy
we're
about it at the time,
diverging
but
again.
they'll
We're
love that
diverging
royalty
again.
later.
We're diverging again.
But see, you better make sure the first take is right.
Yep.
You can't redo that.
Nope. All the cameras right now. Anyways.
That's probably one of the only scenes that was only taken once.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
100%.
You guys are collecting stuff in this. Well, Dax is collecting stuff in this room. What else did you
I'm
want to
nerding
collect? You got an orb. You got some vials. You said broken ones.
And there's nothing more in this room that looks
Anything
different-
that looks
different.
useful for
Yeah,
information.
that looks different than what we already have, basically.
There's a few minor things, nothing major, other than that orb thing. Seems like it's something because there's a couple of them. But it's not like the orbs you saw before. These are different.
Okay.
They're...
Right. Yeah. The orbs we saw before were like biomass orbs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are more like a device.
Yes. And it's
Okay.
not a pure orb. It's an orb shape, meaning
Okay.
it's orb, but it's flat on like the bottom and top, and like has grooves
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff in it. It's
Okay.
not rolling around.
Are you are you are you you bored, G3? I see you.
No, dude, this is just my ADD, like big time.
Fingers just
I
doing
do this
circles
every
around.
session while I listen. Most of the time, I just go until it stops me.
I just noticed it.
You haven't
All
noticed
right,
him doing that before?
I never
do
noticed
this
it. No, I never
every
noticed
session.
it. No, I didn't.
Because for whatever reason, I listen to what people are saying better while I just have to be busy. It's
Yeah,
dumb.
no, I get it. I get it. I completely get it.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to make the decision of opening more doors and checking more things, or do we have enough? Do we think?
Do we have enough for this run? Should we take these back to camp now? What does GA say? Does GA think they're important?
Unknown.
Yeah, she's always. I think
Right.
no matter what
Not
we
enough
get,
data, so right.
yeah. Well, or we don't have clearance.
True. Well, it's still a possibility, but
Yeah, that's why.
If it was clearance, it probably would say, invalid clearance more so than...
all right.
Oh, really? Okay. So this is all new stuff then. Okay, that's good to know.
But if we find anything it reacts to, then it might become more important. We'll see.
Yeah, but what if we do come up against something that, not against something? Well, what if we do come against something? Yes, but what if we come to something that she says?
Keep in
that
mind,
we don't have clearance.
like, you're in like an old shell of a building that has no power. Any device that would be powered, you don't even know necessarily it would be or not, because there's not necessarily any indicator.
Right.
We don't exactly want to hook it up to H8 and just to see what happens.
No.
I mean, we could.
Risky.
We could.
Too risky.
I just had the image of AJ going, no, like shaking his hands, like no.
HA, let me plug this random thing in you.
I mean, well.
How does this feel? Does it feel okay? Does it make you feel weird?
Stop that! No, stop that! That's worse than swearing.
Does it take your power?
We should bring a vehicle next time, just so we can use its power.
Okay, so do we want to open up another door and try again and see what else we can get?
I mean, we're discovering all sorts of things, so why not?
Well, that's what Dax
As long
would
as the
wanna
floor
do.
holds.
Yeah, Dax would want to do that. Like,
As long as the floor holds. Speaking of,
I love how Kai and Cass are just like sitting there, just like, yeah, we're just here. It's all good.
I mean, Kai usually has interesting input, but unfortunately, I can't replicate it.
Yeah, I mean, he's like ridiculous with his strategery. I almost said strategery naturally. Oh my god.
that's great. Keep in mind, his strategies haven't always led you guys on the proper path.
Oh no, yeah, but they were good thoughts though. I mean, it wasn't anything like that was like, oh, that's dumb. Why? did
They
you
were
think
good
that?
thoughts
Almost
to
always something
him.
interesting, though, so that's why I don't mind
Yeah, that's
listening.
it,
Most of the time.
All right, yeah. So I'm not asking that question as HA. HA is passive, but yeah, are we, exploring more?
Dax is still just like combing through anything he could find that's useful. Still thinking about the other room. Could I find more in there?
That's great.
All right. Well, I look at Deke and kind of thumb point backwards to the door that's next, and he's like, and then a questioning shrug, should we?
Being Deke, I don't think he would really care either way.
Okay. Good. So we're all just sitting here waiting for Dax because he's just rummaging through things.
Yeah, he doesn't really know what's important versus.
You should know by now. We'll be here all night, and he won't even notice.
You all leave and don't tell Dax. You come back a week later, Dax is starving to death and still going through papers.
Just sorting papers. H8 picks him up. He's still sorting papers.
Okay, in that case, I will walk over and kind of like just poke at him and be like, "Hey, there's other stuff we could probably find."
Okay, in that case, I'd be like, well, I want to know what's behind it. We found some good things so far. At least they're good to me.
When in doubt, just rely on Dax for distracting the group. Hey Dax, there's something you don't know what it is over there.
Let's find out what it is.
There's a big red button. I want to push it.
That one's I'm more cautious with. There's some big red buttons on our ship. You don't want to hit those buttons.
Just says self-destruct.
When does
No,
pressing
it's
a
definitely
big
not
red
that.
when does pressing a big red button ever work out for anyone?
It's Mr. Coffee.
Oh, Steve.
No, this is Mr. Coffee. This is Radar. Everyone knows I drink coffee with Radar. Sir, yes, sir.
So what's the decision? Because H8's just standing around like, what are we doing?
Well, I thought you were going to open the door.
Deke really
Or you're going
never.
to drag me out of here. One of them.
No, Deke never really expressed, like that he was gonna.
Deke doesn't really have an opinion.
Ah, okay. Well then,
We're here to
H8 like.
explore and find unknown things.
Not all the doors are locked. Some of them are just open doorways.
Oh. Well, about the one. Okay, so we went. Okay, looking at this diagram, we were in here,
Mhm,
right? Okay, we came out and we went in here.
mhm.
Okay, so now I'm walking out and checking the door next over here.
Okay.
Checking the door.
That
Is it
door
open, or
is
it-
open.
Okay,
That's an open
It is.
doorway.
it's an open door, right? Okay. Well, I wave over everyone as they're watching me go over there and open or check the door.
Roll acrobatics, by the way. For a nice floor integrity check.
He's like, dang, he remembered.
Yeah, I was like, oh man. Okay.
Hey.
Okay. That's not too bad. That's flat. That's just a 15.
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
It'll
Because
happen periodically, as you know.
I am kind of lumbering, as you know.
Mhm. That's why we're going to check every so often.
That's fine. I got one more inspiration just in case.
See, there's a reason to do the recap. So what are the rest of you guys doing? You see H8 goes to the next doorway.
Yeah, I can't see inside the room either because I don't have any kind of.
Keep in
light.
mind, the only light around the tree is the little bits of light coming in from above.
Right.
It's very, very dim.
Dim. Nice.
Killian, go help. Inspect the room, or look at the room, I guess. See what's inside. This will probably be acrobatics. Oh. Oh no.
He didn't say acrobatics. Why'd you have to? No, I'm just kidding.
If you're checking in the room, it would be.
Well, he's going over to the room, so
Oh, over to.
I was gonna check the doorway. It's still 10, but
On his way over, he kind of like stumbles through a section of the floor and is able to catch himself. But Yeah, the floor is obviously in grand condition. You have to keep in mind, there's literally a layer of dirt completely covering whatever material this floor is made of.
Fun.
So you can't actually necessarily see if there's a hole in the floor because there's dirt, and
Dirt,
grass, and
cobwebs,
So,
everything. Leaves.
well, grass is kind of growing on the floor now with the dirt, and so
Oh, so it's
there's
like moss or mold.
yeah,
Like that?
and so
Huh,
there's a thin
okay.
layer. So when you step through, sometimes you're not actually putting a hole in the floor. It's just you didn't see the hole,
That's fair.
and your foot went down through, the grass cover, the moss cover.
Dirt, dirt, dirt. Everything is dirt.
Thankfully, he has perception bonuses as well. Yay! Go, Lizard Man, go!
So he gets to the doorway and he can look in. You can roll a perception check for him.
That was 15. And then plus 6. 21.
He looks quite familiar to the first room
Okay.
that you guys came in.
So,
So
Dark Vision doesn't see anything obvious. It's just like another splitting up room.
Basic room.
Well, nothing of note.
Killian should say that at this point. Yes.
Well, let's see. With him, it'd probably be like, nothing, not that interesting. Let's just move on.
Just door like the other one.
Okay, so do we go again?
It's up to you.
Especially if there's closed doors, like stuff that
Yeah,
was
can
somehow got
we-
sealed
can we-
inside. If
Yeah,
there's
can
any
we
closed
see
doors
which doors are closed, basically?
or mostly closed, partially.
No, because
like
you
this
can't
one.
see. You have to go up to him.
What about Killian? Can he see?
Killian can. You already walked all around the whole place and saw him, remember?
Okay. So he knows which ones. are
Well, he's
closed.
right next to H8. Does he knows which he can relay which ones were closed?
Guessing there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rooms.
At least.
I'm just.
Wow,
I'm.
that's a big
I know.
door.
I'm just looking at the. What we have. So I'm just taking it from that.
Mm-hmm.
So what door is closest that is closed that Killian can see?
What's behind door number 5?
The closest one that's not open all the way, you're saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
You'd continue around that way for a little bit, and it comes to another one that is not open.
Guessing around here.
Yeah.
No check.
There's the door.
Okay.
Looks
I
kinda
just
like-
meant like no dex check or anything.
Not yet.
Okay, good. I still can't see inside, but I will. Is it?
Well, if there's a door, then you can't. No.
Well,
Being
yeah,
this close, you
but
can't see that
he-
it's another
he said
sealed
it was
door like the
it was
first time.
partially right. It was partially open, correct?
Uh-oh. This is another
No, it's-
closed door like the first one you saw.
Oh, okay. Am I too far from? Oh no, I have to message Deke anyway. I was like, Deke, Deke, we got another door.
Let's do it.
Exploration time!
You
Yay!
gotta come over here first.
Oh, sorry.
No, I
Go
just
ahead
don't
and
know.
roll.
He's
All right, since you're going over there, Killian's gonna hang by, be my bodyguard back here. At least visual range. Hey, why are you
Okay.
moving me? You moved
so
me.
this one is completely closed.
Yes.
Okay, so this one we're gonna have to do the
Energy sortie.
energy sword and hands.
All right, so
No. Use my inspiration. No, I'm mad at that one. I'm mad at that one.
Lol.
I'm mad at that one too. I got a 16.
Wait, why is this thing I rolled? What? Where'd that come from?
It is interesting. What'd you roll an 11 for?
I have no idea. I don't know why I rolled.
So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not going
weird.
to help you out at all.
Oh, jeez.
Or was that 11 from him? What? Why did it say green though?
No,
Roll
wait,
that
what?
11, but it counted it as
Yeah,
keep rolling. Oh,
that's weird.
that is weird. It's alright. Deke got a 2, so he might give himself a hernia trying to help H8 out.
Hey, it's not a 1.
Oh no!
Got to replace that with cyborg parts.
We're gonna have to listen to Weird Al's song next week.
I mean, did we at least get it open?
No.
Didn't move at all.
I moved a bit, and you made a nice loud noise.
I knew you were just trying to get this in. Probably right before we end, just so it's timed better.
And of course you hear a very insect-like scream from down below. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything.
And H8 feels it coming.
That's
Well.
what she said.
Huh?
Uh,
Oh,
I'm
but nothing
tired,
comes
sorry.
out.
Also what she said.
well, this has devolved a lot.
It has. That's the best part of having it recorded. You can remember how devolved you were the last session.
When everyone's out of it and he takes over. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
I had a lot of fun conversations though, so I regret nothing.
Oh, yeah, no.
This session should have been referred to as devolved.
There's your title for the video.
So that's what the group name is. Degenerates.
I'm okay with this.
Dax wouldn't be, but me personally, I'm fine with that.
Oh.
H8 would basically be like, well, yeah, all the organics.
So, do you guys want to check any other doors? You want to call it there for the night? What are you thinking?
Like,
Oh,
part of me
so
wants
we
to keep
didn't
going, but
trigger.
part of me
Yeah.
wants... Well, you can hear them, so they'll probably pop up soon.
Maybe we should quietly make our way, quietly as we can, make our
You
way.
hear the
out.
screech, and it's like,
Yeah.
maybe we should leave
I'm
right now.
I'm basically telling everyone like,
Let's regroup now
I
before they
feel,
swarm
no,
us.
I know that there's multiple targets like kind of around us, so.
With the screech, Daxel's still distracted, so it's just like, what did you do?
I'm trying to look at a broken vial. What did you do? I'm contemplating
inspecting
licking
my
it to
science
see
stuff
what's
over
in
here.
it.
I would rather have everybody, or at least more people here for a fight. So I wouldn't.
That's why I say we should probably.
He's pretty much giving us a chance for that.
Yeah.
We're in the tree room right now.
So we should retreat to at least be closer to where they are.
Well, we should retreat into the room that we entered from, so we know we can.
Right.
Which would be around here, I think.
Yeah, because they're just outside, so something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys move back to probably about here, would be the
Yeah,
door.
I was
going
gonna
to
say
the
they're
other room.
more like right here. Yeah, and we get that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, well, since we heard the warning noises. Let's regroup and prepare for what's probably about to pop out of the ground at us, or crawl out of the building, or who knows what.
This is good.
Yes.
I have a feeling this is going to come down to rolls, honestly.
Let's see what happens.
What?
Yeah.
You're acting like we're playing a role-playing game or something.
Yeah, the way you know a role playing
That
game
rolls with
is
an
spelled
E, sir.
R-O. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the best part. Is
Who
it's
wants to go first?
No.
Who wants
technically
to go
the ROLE that is being
Could very
done
easily be ROLL. and
needs
still
to be
very
backed
accurate.
up by the ROLL. Yes. The two roles rely and lean on one another.
Yeah.
Like, I will actually, if someone just demands they want to just roll a check for something, I will let them, but the DC is going to be higher if you don't try to actually describe what it is you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it at all.
Right.
Because you're just like, I'm just want to wing it.
first?
Okay. I have no idea what you're trying to do, so go for it. The DC is going to be higher because I don't know a valid, rating for it because you didn't say what you're trying. Whereas if I know what you're doing, I can gauge the DC of that a little bit more accurately to what you're trying to do.
Oh, there's 4 of them too that we have to. Ooh,
Hmm.
there's 4 of us that have to get to the next room and then get out of that room.
Well, technically, you just have to walk around. Dax was the
Yeah,
only one that
it's
was
a
in a
path.
room.
Oh, I gotcha.
Sort of.
So you guys just walk
Well,
around the tree back to the other one.
Who-
Killian just like comes back to the room and it's like, hey, we need to go, but it's like, all right.
I take it you guys want to all kind of join back
Yeah,
up.
Regroup, yeah.
What am I gonna roll? Oh, no. We just.
I mean, it's paths we already crossed, so we know
True.
the layout
True.
and the weak
Okay,
spots from
So we're
previous.
out of the building now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still
Do we-
pretty of them now.
Do we try to make our way out and go back? Because we have a lot of stuff to deliver.
With the time we have, why don't we call it here? And you guys can
Yeah.
kind of make up your
And then,
minds.
that
and
way,
that way,
that next week other people we can decide. That.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool.
I hope you guys enjoyed. Tonight was definitely a bit more crazy and off the beaten path. Thank you all so much for being here. Be sure to follow and turn on notifications so you can join us next time for more crazy fun. Until next time, and as always, enjoy the story. We'll see you guys next time.